Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is All in the Charts. If you appreciate the content on this stormy day in South Florida, make sure that you hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, and click the bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live each and every single weekday. Man, South Florida, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the weather down here in South Florida. I love when people, pop my ears. I love when people generalize and say they travel to Florida. Clearly, you have no idea how diverse a state Florida is. South Florida is entirely its own sort of niche. And down here, it's very accustomed to be sunny like it was earlier today at 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Beautiful weather, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And now it's downpouring and stormy. But there's strong and fleeting storms that come through seasonally, and you get used to it. So, but it's pretty damn stormy out today. Guys, feel free to, today's TA Q&A day. So I am going to take your TA questions. We're going to talk a little bit about the price action, obviously, what we're seeing today, and I'll share my thoughts there. I was on a Spaces earlier today, if you had a time to catch that, kind of sharing my thoughts. But if you'd like, join me for a little drink today. I have a red Cabernet that I'm enjoying. And I made a rare stop at Whole Foods because they ass rape you on prices. And I picked up these, they're my favorite olives. They are black curd olives. I don't know if you've ever had black curd olives, but damn, are they good. Love it. What would actually go really well with that would be a nice sharp white cheddar, but I do not have that. Juan, welcome in. Good to see you. Now I'm hungry for white cheddar cheese, which I do not have. Cracker Barrel sharp white cheddar. Guys, let's talk about the price action and what's going on here. So let's level set here. We'll take a look at price action. And, we're seeing green all over the place, right? Yeah, most everything is up. Things are looking good, right? And there's a lot of enthusiasm coming into the market, and I think it's okay to feel encouraged by the price action, but I think this is one of those moments where it really tests you in terms of where you're at with your maturity as a disciplined financial investor, that there really isn't anything super exciting going on right now. Right? You guys know I'm very bullish. I'm very, very bullish. But there's nothing about this swing high that has me super excited at the moment. Now, the thing I would focus on from a bullish perspective is, and I've tried to, again, clean this chart up so it was really easy to see, these three blue lines, and maybe what I could do, just so it's a little more clear, because typically we use red for resistance and green for support on this channel. Guys, thumbs up if you appreciate happy hour and you're going to join me for a drink. And if you appreciate the content, I'm a teeny tiny YouTuber. So the more that you make an active decision to engage with me, the more my content's going to get out there. And then the channel's just going to be ginormous. So make sure that you hit the thumbs up, because if you don't hit the thumbs up button, which clearly no one is right now, then you're a douchebag. I mean, there's really no other way to say it. You're a douchebag. So feel free to drop off. No sweat off my back. So this might be low, 52,546. We'll just round it. Whoa, did you hear that? Holy fuck, hope the connection doesn't go out. That jarred me there. Did you see me jump? 52.5, we'll call it just 50. We'll kind of round it. Thank you. I see you guys hitting the thumbs up. Appreciate it. I hate asking, believe me. And the last one here. So clearly what I'm trying to depict to you, you could I mean, you could choose this level too, but whatever. This is 57. We'll just call it 500. 100. Right? So the thing to focus on as a bull, which is great to see, is that we've been stair-stepping up, right? We have these higher lows coming in, which is great, but we don't have the higher highs yet. And this is why I'm not overly excited right now. And it's just on the immediate price action. We have to clear this level, guys. We have to, and we've spoken about that. Really, ultimately, I want to get up here. Once we start to get up to 65.6, now we've established a higher high. Then once we get up here, you know my sentiment. Once we break above and stay above $68,000, that is when there's going to be some explosive, quick price movements. Plus, you'll be invalidating all these other lower highs here. But let's remain level-headed here. It's September. September can be a really tricky month. There's no reason, okay, if we take a quick look at the monthly, there's no reason we can't close green for the month of September, which is this candlestick here. However, the body of this might be thinner, which is fine for us. I would love to see a close around $61,000. We're at 63 right now. If we close around $61,000, I would be very ecstatic about it. The body would be right about here, and we would be opening pressed essentially up against descending resistance here in October, right? And I think, you know, if we're you know, looking at this logically and asking the question, well, CBG, when do you realistically think we'll get up here? I lean towards October, maybe as late as November, you know, but I would lean towards October. So, you know, we might roll over here, and then the question you have to ask yourselves is: does this higher low hold up? Does this higher low hold up? And does this lie? As long as we continue to show strength with these higher lows, we can roll over. We could even double top here around 57, 58, and then continue moving up. We're fine, right? The only way I would start becoming concerned is if we started taking out all three of these, okay? Even if we came down to 52.5, which I'm not expecting, if we came down to 52.5, right down to this area here, what you're doing is, and we've spoken about this before, you're inviting the opportunity by double tapping this to break it and then come, and we don't want to come down here, right? A double tap is okay. Once you touch 3 times, now you're really playing with fire. Anything more than 3, and statistically speaking, we're most likely going to break. So again, I'm just trying to temper expectations. It's great to see the enthusiasm in the market. I think wow. Damn. Give me 1 second. I almost forgot to do something. I am going to get a work call. Gonna get a work call later, and I forgot to give this guy my mobile. Let's see. I just remembered that for some reason. Wow. I don't know if that's coming through on the audio, if you can hear that thunder, but it's pretty fucking loud here. So, again, that's why I'm not uber excited at the moment. I'm just, you know, I'm waiting to get up into this area here and clear this area. Now, the other thing I've sort of kept a pulse on, as I've shared with you guys, I always encourage you to not just come to this channel for I think I'm one of the few content creators probably who say this so willingly, but I would encourage you to lean on other really good technical analysts in this space. I do myself. It's like any other profession, right? So as you guys know, I'm an actuary, right? So at times, as I'm assessing things, I get other actuarial opinions to see where they align or differ from my point of view so that I can grow professionally, right? It's the same thing in charting. So one of the things that I've been picked up on was a post by Credible Crypto. And Credible Crypto is suggesting that the current move up here is not impulsive, okay? Now, I don't study markets at that granular a level. He is, it seems like, at least based on what he shares, he's a very proficient trader. Day trader, might get into swing trade positions for a week, but he has a lot of capital, it looks like, to play with. And he will look at things on a more granular level to assess impulsive or corrective price actions, right? I don't get down to that level. I keep it stupid simple, as you know, on this channel, and I talk about everything that I talk about on this channel with technical analysis. But I am sort of keeping tabs on the fact that he's noticing that this is not an impulsive structure. But again, even if we do roll over here, keep in mind my commentary on the higher lows. The other thing that's really good to see here, again, and we shouldn't lose sight of this, again, this is the 12-hour chart. What are we doing right now if we just focus on the candlesticks? Well, we're pressing above the pink 200 simple moving average. So long as we can, even if we roll over and come down here, if we maintain price action in this general area, it's going to cause these moving averages to flatten out. And then once price truly pushes up, this 50 is going to golden cross, not golden shower. The 50 is going to golden cross above the 200 SMA, okay? So these are all the things you pick up on as an experienced technician that many other people really aren't observing within the data and to keep track of. So that's why I say even if we roll over here, we have the higher lows and we're maintaining price action right around these two moving averages. So I'm feeling very good and very optimistic in terms of what we're seeing here on this bounce. Now, what is comical for me is to view the emotions of the market. People are getting, and I think there's a lot of pent-up, I think exhaustion in the market. People are just waiting for their altcoins to take off. And, oh, it's got a pit. And rightfully so. I mean, it's been a pretty rough time for many altcoins, right? But the interesting thing is, today, the market is perhaps a little bit too excited, right? I guarantee you, okay, now I'm not expecting a live stream tomorrow. I guarantee you if Bitcoin is down 2% tomorrow, 1.5%, people are going to be pessimistic and you're going to see all sorts of bear posts. This market, sometimes it's nauseating. This market just gets way too emotional, right? So keep your emotions in check and just keep in mind everything that I shared with you. Again, macro, monumentally bullish. I posted this out today. Peter Schiff, who's constantly trolling Bitcoin, I think he does it to farm engagement. He doesn't really believe half the shit he says. But, he's calling this bearish price action here. You can read my comments here. Clearly, Peter Schiff can't do basic technical analysis. Now, people have pointed out the cup and handle, and I get that. But I'm more so focused on this bull flag. This is just TA 101. That's all it is, okay? Or even pre-101. So I don't know how you can't be bullish macro. I've just shared way too much with you. Other things to talk about. Guys, what TA questions do you have? Who do I have in the live stream today? And share your TA questions, because really, with the remaining time, I'd like the remaining portion of the live stream to be about you and what you'd like me to chart. And plus, it will allow me to enjoy my olives and sip my Cabernet. So, ooh, James, I didn't know you were in England, and I have no idea where Cheshire is, but I will Google it actually. We have good cheese there. Could you look at? Absolutely, my friend. Yeah, I haven't been partaking in a lot of cheese lately, and if it is, it's like fat-free craft. But having these olives is really making me wish I had a really good cheese. I'll tell you what. Wine and cheese. If you're a wine connoisseur, I love doing wine. I haven't really done them a lot lately, but you get a nice charcuterie board on there. If you do meats, now I don't do red meat. You got your Marcana almonds, salted with a little olive oil on there. You get some good olives on there. Some plain crackers, okay, with some cheese, and then a little bit of fruit, strawberries, grapes. Hot damn, that is a day right there. the ideas are turning through my head right now. There's so many wine and cheese pairings I could do with myself maybe this weekend. Okay, so that was a bad joke. Let me get into the TA questions because I do see that there's a TA question. I pointed out some bullish divergence on the 3-day on loop ring here. I'm actively in a trade position, so just pointing that out. Also Orca, you guys know I'm in a trade position here. It's just a matter of time. These are sort of my target zones here. Don't pay attention to the time area. I'm not saying this is going to hit within this time frame, but I'm first targeting this $3.50 to roughly $5 area. And then once we clear that, I'm targeting between 5 and it looks like upwards of 18 or 19. So be interesting to see how hard that thing runs. But when Solana starts moving, that thing's going to move. All right, let's get into the TA questions. This is why you guys tuned in, right? You tuned in so that I could teach you or share with you what I see in the charts. Not familiar with this project. Okay. This is on Coinbase. Interesting. Okay. Right off the bat. Now, I'm unfamiliar with this project, but I will tell you before I do any charting here, I love what I see. And I'll clearly explain to you why. I love what I see here. Let's just focus on price action first. What's one of the most... So when you're evaluating a chart, what is one of the most basic, fundamental things that should jump out to you right away? What's the higher high, higher low, lower high, lower low situation? That is like the first thing that should pop out to you. So clearly on a weekly view here, this thing is very bullish. We've been in an uptrend since October of 23. Very nice chart. Love what I see here. Thank you for bringing this chart. Guys, I love when you share charts in particular that look similar to this. So we got the higher lows coming in, right? Nice impulsive tops. Love to see the volume. You can see on the moves up here, the other thing that sticks out to me, these big green Jesus candlesticks. Look at the volume profiles, okay? That's what you want to see. And then what you want to see on a downturn, the other thing to observe is once we saw this impulsive movement up here and the volume spike, look what happened to volume here. This is a clear sign of accumulation, reaccumulation in this area, okay, given the volume profile. The other thing, if we condense price action here, the other thing that sort of sticks out to me, if we go to like a 2-week, you could also, let me see if I can make this work. Let me put this on a monthly. Let me see if the chart gods will allow me to chart this. Yeah, I mean, you definitely, if we look at a monthly on this thing, you definitely have a bull pennant. There's no question. And I would argue this was a pull. This is a pennant that broke up, right? This is your pennant, okay? And now we have another pull. Okay, so very, very bullish. Very, very bullish. Now, let's talk about areas of resistance and support. So let's put this on a weekly here. Clearly, what I would love to see on this chart, something that sticks out to me right away, I want this wick to hold. This wick that represented downside volatility. Buyers came in and ate up the price around 16 cents, okay? Right around 16 cents. So I would love to see 16 cents hold up on this ticker. Not surprisingly, you can see there's price confluence right around 16 cents here and just shy right here. Okay, so not surprising that we came down to 16 cents. In fact, if I would have had to pick an area that I would have taken an educated guess on, it would be, just given the price confluence here, it would have been between 12 and 16 cents. So we've held up very, very, very strong. Okay, something else that I want to take a look at, which I really don't take a look at perhaps enough. Let's look at how far we've retraced down. We've retraced down to the 0.5. So when you have a large movement up in price, one of the key things that you can look at is how far we retrace down. how far we retrace down is also an indication of how strong the move is. In this case, we've only hit the 0.5. We haven't even come down to the golden pocket, which is at 0.618. So this chart is showing a lot of strength. There is clear downward resistance here, okay? That goes without saying. But we're in a bull pennant. We just talked about that. What other areas of resistance do I want to see broken that will give us a little bit of problems? Right around there. That's at about 37 cents. And then right there at about 54 cents, and then the all-time high. Let's not overcomplicate the chart. Whatever, 84 cents. So that's my assessment of the chart. Ultimately, you just want 15. You want this 16-cent area to hold up, this wick here. But this chart looks beautiful. Thank you so much, James, for asking the question there. Oh, you can hear the bangs of thunder in the background. Yeah, it's pretty fucking loud here. Pretty bad storms rolling through. Another reason, I don't know if you saw my post, another reason I'm so thankful I don't have to put up with the bullshit of commuting in to a corporate cubicle hell. Oh my God. Ugh, stuck under those fluorescent lights like a fucking lab rat. Perspective, I'll tell you, it really, just to digress for a moment, as I'm waiting for TA questions to come in here. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Allie. Guys, feel free to drop your TA questions. I'm going to kill a little bit of time here as I'm waiting for that to come in. What opened up my eyes is that fairly early on in my career, in my 20s, I started going to a hybrid model where I was in the office some days and then I worked remote some days. And what I realized through that process, it was eye-opening because it made me realize, hey, CBG, this is pre-CBG, but we're not doxing, so we're going to use my CBG name. Hey, CBG, having a conversation with myself like I quite frequently do. How in the hell does it make any sense that you spend so much time food prepping? Because back then I even, I would pack up my meals for the most part and bring them in. Still ate healthy, hitting the gym every day. Doing all the food prep, spending all this time and money on driving in, right? 50-minute plus commute. I used to commute in an hour and 20 minutes one way. But near the end, it was like 50-some minutes. So 50 minutes, we'll just say 50 minutes. You're spending all this money on gas, all the wear and tear on your beautiful car you love. And once you get there, you literally walk in. You see people you work with, which I've always liked, except my past job. I always liked who I reported to and who I worked with. And but you get in your little cubicle, and there's all these fluorescent lights up top. All that unnatural light that you love, And then you sit down in an uncomfortable chair with some old-ass computer, because we still had only desktops at that point, no laptops. That was later on. And you fucking sit there and you type for 8 hours. And you're just sitting in a seat, and people come around and they talk to you and shoot the shit, and you quickly find that an 8-hour day, you could do most of your 8-hour day in like 5 hours some of the days. Some days I'd be super busy and easily could work 8 to 10 hours. Some days like I could work a half day. Like, let's just be real. But you look at that and you're like, I could do the same shit from home. I don't need to spend, that's the other thing. I don't need to dress up and spend all this money on work attire. I used to dress really nice back in the day. When I moved down to South Florida, I got super casual. But spending all this money on clothing to go in, and you're not client facing. So I was never client facing. I'm literally in front of a computer, we'll just call it crunching numbers, okay? Whether it's pricing or reserving, it's all the same fucking thing. You're crunching numbers, all right? That's all you're doing. You're working with pricing models and reserving models and doing some VB code and all sorts of fun stuff, right? But no one sees me on the outside. I literally drive all that way just to sit in this little cube space and fucking type on a computer all day. Blew my mind once I started working from home, and I'm like, I can do all the same shit here, and I can like work in the clothes I slept in, and I have like 2 hours back in the day, which is like the time I spend in the gym. So it's like I'm not even going to the gym. And I don't have to pack food. I can just go out to the kitchen and make it. Fucking score! So, yeah, it was an eye-opener. Maddie P. I hope that your question, while it's a great question, is a rhetorical question. You must be new to the live stream, so I'll just assume you're very new. One of the things that I've done on my live stream in terms of assessing the Bitcoin top, if you actually go to my profile here on X, I routinely advertise it on this live stream. I have created a video that I believe is a very sensible, level-headed, logical approach to scaling out of your investments. And the basic premise of this scale-out strategy isn't based on timing. It's not based on a price point, because I think it's foolhardy to approach things in that matter. What I'm doing is I'm relying on a handful of indicators, and I'll explain why, to tell me when the market is most likely in a euphoric, impulsive top, okay? It's not calling a perfect top, but it's at least saying, hey, based on history, when this flashes, we're way overheated and it's smart to sell out. Now, the reason I use a handful of indicators, because again, as a mathematician, as a data guy, I can really appreciate this. We can't rely on one data source. If we rely on one data source, what we're implicitly stating is certainty. Pi cycle is a great example. The pi cycle is going to fail at some point. Okay, so the pi cycle's in there, but there's other indicators. The MVRV score, okay, is an example, right? So there's a couple indicators in there. Take a look at it. Check out the video. It's on my YouTube channel. I have a link in my profile, so you can check it out. Great question, and welcome to the channel. Super newbie. Well, glad to have you, my friend. Glad to have you. Evan, welcome in. Let's see. What other TA questions? Guys, I'm waiting for your TA questions. I'm not going to just start charting random stuff. Again, don't be surprised if we see a red day tomorrow. Let's not all be emotional. I gave you all at the top of the live stream what to watch for. Let's all stay level-headed, guys. It's the only way you're going to succeed in this market is if you... As emotional, believe me, I'm a very emotional guy, all right? I'm a very emotional human being. But when it comes to my investments, man, I've become a lot more level-headed and just robotic about it, all right? So it would behoove you to be the same. You're welcome, Maddie. Oh, man, I'm down to my last olive, which means we must be near the end of the live stream. Evan, I do agree with you. Any pullback at this point is a gift. People just, I appreciate you making that comment. People wait and wait and wait and wait to buy into this market until a point where we're entering greed, right? Think about it. Part of the reason you and I, if we are to be successful at selling our investments, will succeed, is because you have a lot of, frankly, dumb retail money coming in at the dumbest... They're not here right now, okay? But they're going to come in. They see the market going up. They see Robinhood listing XRP, whatever the hell the case is, right? They see Robinhood listing Brett or WIF. I don't even know if any of those are on there. They see all these things, and they hear the headlines, read the headlines, and they see what's going on Twitter, and they just, Elon tweets something about Doge is up at 50 cents. Next thing you know, the dollar calls are coming in, $2, $3 for Doge, and people are just piling. It's just dumb money. Whereas you and I, we are the smart, diligent investors who have been accumulating at all of these ranges here. Okay, we're not picking perfect bottoms, but we're just accumulating at sensible ranges, right? There are times, and I've stressed this to you, there are times in this market where you are going to make the best decisions which are indicative of you feeling the most uncomfortable, right? And it should feel uncomfortable emotionally to buy at low levels, even if logically you know it seems like a great buying opportunity. It should feel uncomfortable to sell at super high levels, even though logically you know that things are triggering based on my sell signals, and you should start selling. It should feel uncomfortable. Sometimes that's when you know you're making the best decisions. It's just like in life. Sometimes one of the best ways you can... It's always important to listen to everyone around you. However, with that being said, I think if you're truly being creative and contrarian and creating your own path in life and not following the path that someone else has given you or expects of you, and you're creating your own path in life, there are going to be times in life where you go a certain direction and people question you. They doubt you. Maybe it's out of concern or love, but the point is they question you or doubt you. Sometimes that's the best way to know you're on the right path. So just keep that in mind. Okay, got a TA question. So let's close out with a CASPA question. And that'll be good timing because I'm expecting a work call in a few minutes here, actually. So, good question, by the way. Pavel, good question. I used to work with Pavel. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Pavel. I used to work with him a long time ago at first company I worked for. Well, I'll tell you what, my friend. First off, you are correct. You can look at this as a rising wedge, and a rising wedge is a concerning view. However, we had a rising... Let me draw this so it's a little bit clearer. We had a rising wedge here that broke up. We had a rising wedge here that broke up. And now we have another rising wedge. So here's what I would say to this. I think that your observation is a great one, okay? However, what I would also include in this, sometimes what you need to do with technical analysis is you need to go beyond the initial pattern that is presented in the chart. You can go back historically in time and you can evaluate Bitcoin's chart and you can see rising wedges that have actually broken to the upside because it was part of a corrective formation from an Elliott wave structure perspective, okay? So sometimes you need to go a step beyond just saying, well, the pattern's present, it's a rising wedge, which I agree with you. And so it's going to break down. Where we are, macro high time frame in the current cycle, the strength that CASPA has exhibited relative to all the other altcoins, okay? There's a lot of days when this thing has been green and the rest of the market's been red. The way it has climbed into the top 20, or I think it's one mark shy of that, all the things of my expectations, this thing's going to break up. That is my expectation. I would be, again, anything is possible. I would be surprised if this plays out to the downside. I would be very surprised by that because this thing has been in a clear uptrend, and we are expecting mass appreciation going into 2025. Great question, though. I do appreciate you asking it. And I hope that was helpful. I hope it was helpful. All right, guys, I have to sign off. I have to jump on a work call. I will be back here on Sunday after the Eagles defeat the New Orleans Saints. 24-23 is what I'm calling. They're going to bounce back big, so let's see if that happens. But I will be here for the weekly close, so make sure you click that bell icon for all notifications to know when I'm back here on Sunday to guide, help navigate you through the charts and interpret what we're seeing on the weekly and 2-week charts on Bitcoin. All right, guys, take care. Good to see you. Thank you so much for the engagement. Until next time, let's all continue to spread awareness and carry the education forward. Take care.